first, which is GloboGym pick. Then we got Blight, which is Gospel pick, so we will see Addict coming out of the closet again to come play Blight. Oni as a tiebreaker as well, so we'll probably be seeing Young Cash on the Oni if we do get an Oni TB. So definitely weighted a bit more in Gospel favor, if you do ask me. I'm surprised that Blight wasn't banned. That means GloboGym's confident on their Blight. Um, who do we have on the killer side? Is it Ranger? We have Ranger Dark Lord. So I'm keen to see how he does here, how he plays with the Dark Lord, because I don't think I've seen Ranger play Dark Lord, but I know he's been picking up some killers. I know he had to pick up Houndmaster for an Altruism League game against Synergy, um, which he actually did really well in. So we'll shout out to him. But yeah, I'm keen to see how he plays in the Dracula. Dracula's such an interesting killer for me. Is he? Did we change his map, or is he still on Wreckers?
I believe he's still on records. If he's had a map change, it's I've not looked over it. Like I said, I wasn't really too heavily involved in the balancing big fella. That was
I don't
more
think he
your
is.
department.
Yeah, he's on Wretched Shop now.
Oh, interesting. Little less filler dense. Lot
Yeah.
more counterplay in terms of spreading out survivors, and I think death locations will be the key part of this part. I think on Wrecker's Yard, I think with the bat form and wolf form, the chase potential and the traversal is just way too high. I think putting him on Wretched, it gives his bat form a place to shine, but also gives the survivors an ability to actually play tiles. I believe he did, or maybe hasn't already, but I think he's receiving buffs to his wolf form as well. So Spunk, I think that would be your more your alley to indulge with people because I don't really read the patch notes. Although I just wanted to mention the new Myers buff looks sick. If anyone
Dash
disagrees,
on
you're just a
Myers.
hater.
Look, Myers rework is interesting. I have to look at numbers and see how he looks on the PTP. I don't like that he's just kind of Chucky again in a way. And his ability is just I have coup de grace, lol, and I one shot you. I think I don't know. Like they turn him into a lun like a dash killer in a way, and sort of moved away from the fact that he's this sort of laid back, stealthy, stalks your game. It's less true to who he is as a character from the franchise he comes from. But for gameplay, he probably is going to be a lot better. So I'm keen to see how he fleshes out. Yeah, Dark World is going to be receiving some changes to the 9.2 PTB, among some other horrid changes to tunneling and slugging, which probably won't go live. But yeah, they're reducing the Hellfire cooldown and they're buffing Hellfire basically a little bit, and then Wolfform is actually nerfing it is what they're doing. They're increasing how long it takes to charge a pounce, and increasing how long it takes a Scent Orb to spawn, which affects how you get your power in Wolfform. In addition to Batform being a little bit easier to control, some bit of adjustments for Dark Lord. Then putting a bit more power into Hellfire and taking away a lot of power from Wolfform because it's kind of just better West in a lot of ways. And also some other killer changes. I know Unknown's getting his camera angle adjusted, which is great. So no more running into Unknown to counter him. Fuck you if you did that. No more kissing Unknown for a counter. But we do take the chase here. Seeing Ranger on the Dark Lord with Lapis really with the boots as well. We do find a very early tag onto Cash, kind of just walking, meandering in front of Ranger for a quick tag here. And looking at the build as well, we have Wretched Fate, Pain Res, and Eruption. Pretty solid build with the Corrupt Intervention. We're at a pretty crap palette, all things considered. We could probably just do a little bit of a Hellfire zoning if we wanted. We don't even pull up the Hellfire. We're just breaking the palette, and then Cash locking, having to force himself to drive the edge map here. Filler trying to play it to the best of his ability. We do pull up the Hellfire here to see how Ranger does play it. Unfortunately, not quite able to get the Hellfire there as it vaporizes it into nothingness, allowing Cash to pre-drop that part and rotate away. But Volform should be up with a bit of a pounce, and we do see it there with the pounce. We should be able to hit a quick double dash on the Cash. He's kind of in a crap location, right next to a Pain Res too, trying to bait Cash to sort of zone himself away, but he's not believing any of it, as we do get a nice burst dash here right in front of the Pain Res too. Great start for Ranger.
Yeah, I mean, that was a very, very early attack. He was actually able to make it all the way to 11 playing max distance and then made it back to 1, which is actually, the comm came through. I think that they were doubling 8 and, he made his way back over to 1. So actually good, good, what's the word I'm looking for, Sir Smunk? You know the word, versatility from J Cash, I guess you could say. Yeah, adaptability is definitely the word I was looking for. That's the one. Yeah, good plays from J Cash to be able to adapt on that and move back over to the def location that I think that his team wanted in the end, and they're able to pop the double gen for it, even with through the pain risk. So very well played, and I think one thing you might notice, first, Mike, as well, that's the Wretched Fate Survivor on the hook now. So really only playing with 3 perks at the moment. And I do believe that is Sizz, who actually had a really ripping grand final performance. He's up on that 2 gen. Yes, he's sitting up on that very aggressively. Now, if this pops, I think Ranga might be in a bit of strife here, so Smart.
He's playing very defensively. He's not like moving away from the hook and going to take a chase. He's just camping him until second, letting them do gens far away, but he has clocked the fact that that 2 gens is getting worked, which is a pretty critical gen looking at his gen spread there, and it does get done there. So he's going to have to try and focus on keeping this band of generators near main as active as possible, as we do see Cash going second stage right now, and I guess they need to be going bat form, and they're trying to get active, making sure these 3 gens are nice and healthy and good to go. And yeah, Wretched Fate being a dead perk now, which is a shame, and even if Cash does get unhooked and escapes, he knows exactly where it is because he's hooked on top of it as well. So we do find someone here lurking nearby. We see the unhook coming through onto Cash. Now we do see FTP pop, which does mean Sizz is now affected by Wretched Fate, but Wretched Fate is also right next to where the unhook is, so he knows where it is, so I dare say we're going to be taking a chase off the Cash, seeing that Wretched Fate pop, and then Sizz hopping on a gen, and breaking his 3 gen, but we see Cash rotating down to the shack side of the map. He's going to need a ripper of a chase. He has a pretty decent jungle gem here, using our Lapis Lazuli to block that window for a little bit, just a little bam in the pocket here. I don't know why he has it as an add-on, but he should be able to get a bit of a dash here. A nice first pounce tag onto Cash, which does force him to rotate over to Shack Pallet, but I dare say he would just be pre-throwing to the best of his ability. We're able to go into Dracula form now, trying to just break that pallet as quick as possible. Not letting us break that pallet on that side, I think, and that's a bug exclusive to Dracula, if I'm not mistaken, unless he was just like intentionally faking a little bit. But I dare say with a couple of dashes from Warform, we're able to pace ourselves really well here. We're going to get it down, but no, we do take the tag onto Addict, who came in for a bit of a body block. We see the kill, and we're still trying to play around a drop shake pallet, but we do break in a bat form, which does mean we should be able to catch up to Cash really quickly here, as he doesn't rotate back over to this tile window, and we're down to 1 gen already. We need this down sooner rather than later, and with that hook placement there, we do unfortunately just headbutt ourselves on that hook, letting Cash have a bit of a run for his money here around these tiles with a well-placed Hellfire. We should be able to get a down at this power, just taking power control there with a bit of a Hellfire fake, but a medium ball coming in, and Cash will be dying in this instance.
Yeah, when I saw Ranga back into that power a little bit, I thought he set up Cash for the fast fight, and we do see the triple on the gen here. Now, the pain res has been used on Cash, so I think they're just going to be able to pop this. They are tripling, as I said earlier.
The wrong gen.
Oh, we've TP'd. He heard the gen last second as well. He knows he's fucked up. That's such a unlucky play from Ranga as well. So, gonna only be able to probably get 6-2 from this Sir Smunk, which on Dracula is not amazing. And honestly, I thought Ranga played this game pretty well. I think maybe just needed to play a little bit more aggressive. Maybe use the bat forms to play for a tag on Cash's first hook. The FTP being on Sizz as well was just diabolical. They set that up beautifully, did Gospel. And now, yeah, they're just going to be able to get 6 stages 2 fresh from it. As we do see, really cheeky flick over the short filler. I didn't even know you could actually hit over that. Beautifully played, and I don't even think Sizz knew you could hit over that either. So, yeah, as I said, well played to Ranga, well played to Gospel as well. Very, very, you know, quick game, if I will say so myself. But 6-2 Sir Smunk, very, very beatable on the side of Gospel.
I wouldn't say 6-2, because we see Mr. New lurking nearby for an unhook if he wants it. But we are going to be camping with the Hellfire. We sort of have to rely on Ranga to make a mistake here and then try and get him through the door here. But I think Noose has realized that this is a bit of a poor venture to make, and just going to be rotating way up to the gate to just get it, except the 6-2 as you said. But yeah, really well played from Gospel. I think Ranga played a bit too passive in the early game here. Jack is one of those kills that you can afford to play a bit more aggressive on, which is great. Just due to how his kit works, you do have a lot of match reversal ability in the form of bat form with your TP and everything. You can sort of afford to get a hook, quickly piss off, you know, kick a gen, maybe get a tag if you want to. And I don't think Ranga's too happy with that result, if you ask me.
Tonight, though, regardless of that, and love to see a bit of Monk come out and you know, perform. He's very good on the Dracula as well. One of his killers that I know he does love to play quite a bit in the public matches, and you know, very, 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 very spongy in regards of, you know, knowing everything about the Dracula. Even when it was a new killer in the game, was very, very witty, I guess you could say. And is on most killers, to be fair. I know he's very good on Oni as well. Obviously not needing to play that because they have the big J Cash there, but no, yeah, I definitely think this is possible for GloboGym. 6-2, as I was going to say, it doesn't leave the survivors a lot of room to maneuver in terms of chase. They sort of have to be very efficient, pull late, you know, bank on the fact that Monk Arias may or may not, you know, extend. It doesn't extend off the first hook. He doesn't get that free, you know, a tag or two off that, you know, off the first hook. Maybe they sit pretty and maybe it actually works. But I think the problem, just going back to the last game, I think And this is all just coming down to just, 50-50 decision making, which is obviously all hindsight in the end. So this is a very hindsight comment, what I'm about to make. But even if, um, Ranga was were able to push off and scissor that 2 gen instead of, going elsewhere. Maybe that would have probably been beneficial for him and they would have been able to get that TP off. Again, very hindsight comment to make. But, when you think about it, very realistic path that he could have chosen that he decided not to. So very interesting to see how Ranga did play it. Maybe making a couple of errors, but overall, no, I think we are in agreement that 6-2 is a great result. But we're going to kick it off with the big monk area, Sir Smunk.
Yeah, Big Monk on the Dark Lord here, having a sniff around for Wolf. We do find JT out of position here. By power, out of position. We just find him out of power. Pretty good position, actually. And looking at his build, we have something a little bit different. We have Ruin Pentimento with Pain Resonance. So something very interesting there. Unfortunately, not quite hitting that first dash, but we do get the second one coming in through onto JT here. As we have Lapis Lazuli in the window, this is going to be forcing the Shack Power to come down. Unfortunately, missing that Hellfire there as JT ducks into the stairs. We're leaving the Shack Power up to try and play around it. Maybe trying to bait him to sort of go into the pallet a little bit more. And we're just breaking him while we're in bad bomb. That's really smart, actually, is we try to use center locate JT a little bit. And he's at this fella that isn't great against Dark Lord, but we do get the 2 emote there. This gives us an inkling that someone might be nearby, but might be a big old debate, as I don't think we see anyone nearby for a pallet save. I do that sometimes as well in scrims. They do the 2 emote under the pallet and you just sort of buy the bullshit. You just go, I don't believe you. There's no one here. And just instantly rip the pull. It's worked out in the server. I think Ranga just wasn't quite able to make it over there. We do see Ruin there, unfortunately. I don't know if Painrose actually came through there. We did use a Painrose token. Okay, it just wasn't on that generator. We find something in the scratch box, and this is the difference between Ranga and Monk, right? Monk's already just floated away. He's found a tag on the Potato Savage. What hasn't been common with that power spin drop. We see someone rotating out, going back to the hook, so we're going to be going to back form, coming back to the hook, and then interrupting the save. And this is what Draki's really good at, and something that I mentioned that Ranga didn't quite do last game, and something that I think Dracula just needs to do more of. Like, all this time with tagging Potato Savage and interrupting that cross map, that's time that these gamers weren't on gens, whereas Ranga played it really close to his chest last game and sort of let Gospel do generators. And we're only seeing 1 gen pop, but with all of that pushing and pulling and the tag coming through, I think we're just going to allow Monk to sit in front of the hook, and they won't even be able to pop a gen for it if he just camps JT to second.
No, you're exactly right. For what it's worth, though, I do think GloboGym's gen pressure at the moment is actually quite good. They do have 3 blokes on 3 separate gens, and the gens are quite high. I know I see Philly rotating in here down at deep 12, probably just waiting to get this pull off second. I don't think he's going to trade on the Painrose, so maybe needs to make a comms to just piss off and go sit on a gen and maybe let, hopefully, by chance, hopefully Ranga's just FTP, or maybe they get a reset onto the big potato and they send him in, or hopefully JT's not FTP. Regardless, my point is I think they need to be sending FTP in here, and it is actually Potato Savage, so they might need to reset the big man at some point and play for this, which could be definitely worth it, because I think JT needs to have another chase in this game regardless. I don't think he can let him really die now. And Monk's calling their bluff, to be fair. Monk's saying, if you want to come in and, pull this bloke off the hook, then do it, which is quite ballsy from the big dog. I can't lie. He's able to catch out the stealth as well, which is actually beautiful from Big Monk. This is going to be a free tag onto Philly Fry, who's actually had a really ripping season last season as well. Bit of a pub juicer. Hopefully looking to have a stellar performance from him just throughout the whole season, as well as this one. But no, we do see the reset come onto Potato now, so maybe my voice seeping through into the comms, into the GloboGym VC real quick. Hopefully, we're not going to get the FTP. That's just out of the question, but we might be able to get a pull here, and hopefully JT comes off this hook and he has a bloody juicer, sort of like what we saw versus Synergy Omen in this sort of same scenario. But we are going to take the Painrose, which we saw Maya also do in her set against Thinger, and continue the chase. So good decision making, I would argue, from Monk. Very, very A-class right now from him.
Playing very well. He sort of positioned himself very well. He also got a hook. I didn't call it, but he got a hook right next to an active gen too, which that entire time was just regressing to the Ruin. And he's done a fantastic job of doing both coming back to the hook and playing defensive, but also just moving away from the hook at opportune times and applying pressure elsewhere. And with a couple of dashes here, I think we're going to be seeing the end of Mr. JT here, as we just kind of die at edge map, and this is going to force a 1v3 at 3 gens. Much earlier than we saw Cash dying. I think it was it Cash? It was Cash dying last game on Gospel. So Monk very much in the position here to even secure a 4K, because this gen progress is pretty low as well. Like, while this hook's happening, no one's on gens. We're doing resets instead. That gen is pretty low progress. We are going to be saying bye-bye to Ruin, but as we know, cheeky champion of Light Tech, as we sort of just stealth away, leaving no scratch marks. But we see Ruin popping there. Little do we know, Pentimento is going to be rearing its ugly head very shortly, which is a bit of a bastard to deal with in the 1v3, as once again, no survivors on the gens. We've got a big cranking motors team. We can't all be stealthing that. We do find someone here. I think this is Mr. Ranger, who previous Dark Lord himself, playing around Shaq. I think Monk's just gone. I don't really want to chase here. Actually, I'm going to check my gens. Make sure they're not getting cranked, because Ruin is gone, so they're not going to be naturally regressing. Immediately switching to the world form, trying to see if we can find any scent orbs left up nearby if someone may be stealthing, but all these generators are dead quiet. There's nothing going on, and we've set up our Pentimento as well, so we know that oh, it's in the middle of all our gens too. That's deadly. A little bit of progress on this generator. That means someone might be nearby, but we haven't found Philly or Potato Salad yet. We know roughly where Ranger is hanging out and chilling, but we're teleporting over this generator trying to find just anyone. But GloboGym are doing a fantastic job of stealthing this 1v3 as we find a decently progress generator. And Monk's struggling to find some survivors right now. We see Pentimento pop as well in the background, getting that right out the way, but we've just yet to find anyone. We find the reset, but not quite in time. It's really unfortunate. Oh. And we do get stunned with the pallet and a bit of a cheeky attempt at a champion light blind from Philly Fry, but no, he's going to be leaving the pallet and just out of the trial, trying to get a tag with his wall form to the best of his ability. But Philly's just trying to play around his roster just as long as humanly possible. He needs to go die by Shaq. He can't afford to try anyone near these generators, but he is going to be trying to play around this part here. But Monk breaking it immediately. It's a pretty safe part. This forces Philly to run into his generators, which is not what you want. You need to get him out of here. I'd like to see Potato and Ranger come in for a hit take to get him down to Shaq's side, because you can't really afford Philly to die here. He is able to rotate towards this sort of 12 side of the map and away from the active generators to a somewhat degree and get over to this pretty crummy Philippa. But as we know, this part is not very good against the old Hellfire. He's just going to be holding himself up for 10 years, not quite able to get it through that gap there as we go switching into Wolf with a bit of a scent orb. That should be enough to get us down on the pallet. I don't believe anyone's is nearby for this pallet save, as we go for an instant pick, and then hopefully a pain res nearby to interrupt any gen res near that might be getting done. And it looks like we have died in all of our pain reses. We do get a gen out of that chase, which is huge, but it's a bit far away. Oh, it's actually pretty close to where the chase was, I didn't realise. And another gen, pretty high progress from Ranger. So, GloboGym on the motors, and Philly putting up a really good job in letting them crank the motors.
That will be 4-stage 2 fresh now, Sir Spunk, if I'm not mistaken. A very early pull as well onto Philly Fry. So backing the Young Bucks potential in to have a good chase here. Now, like you said, Sir Spunk, that one gen over at 3 is very, very high and chugging away. And hopefully we see a double. Now, I don't think Philly will be able to run Monk here for the entirety of another gen. I think that Monk's a little bit more better than that. I would have liked to see a body block come in. As I said, that he does eat a treat, +7 wood, stupid. But yeah, no, we are going to get caught out at this tile. I was going to say something before as well, just to touch up on Monk, but I think low-key Monk might be one of the better players that I've seen in the Wolf form, in particular. Overall, he's just a really, really solid Drac, but I think in Wolf form, he really shines the most, able to play a lot of tiles, and I think I hasn't really been able to showcase it too much this game, but yeah, no, just from things that I've noticed and just moments in this game even as well. But yeah, no, his Dracula is very, very good, and I think that just gets confused a lot. He didn't have an amazing performance in the grand finals, although I would argue his performance was really, really good, although I think he would argue it wasn't amazing. We do see an FTP on the background come in onto Potato Savage, but regardless of the grand final, he's really proving that he just deserves to play this kill. He deserves to be in the breath of these great players that he so often finds himself teamed up with. And we do find Ranger caught out here on the hill, so if he downs him here, Sir Smunk, that's GG's, I believe, if he just wants to sit there and camp him out. But yeah, no, regardless, like I said, well played to Big Monk, bro. GG's, bro. Your flowers are deserved, big fella. This is a really good performance from you, and I'm glad to see you, back in form. Good nick, big fella.
Very strong performance from Monk, as you said. Great overall on the Dracula, one of his more preferred killers. It's very great to be rotating over to this pain res in front of main. A bit more opportunities. He's trying to play for his best result, even though he's pretty much already won. We see the pain res coming through there. I think that is the last fresh available, so as long as we just kill someone, we should all be good. And honestly, he doesn't really need to leave right. Okay, because we saw a bit of a UAV pop right there. Interesting Drac bug, as we see Philly stealthing up to try and get the pull. Potato Savage, unfortunately, can't really play aggressive on these generators because Ranger's just died in the middle of all of them, which is a bit of a shame. We do find Philly here, stealth out by the bus. going to be taking him down to Shaq. I think Shaq Part's already been used, but a bit of a couple dashes here should spell a bit of an injure for Philly if he's unable to make this dash, and he does go for the vault, and not quite making that dog dash there, Monk, but it will force Philly to try and take an unfortunate chase there at the part, pulling up the Hellfire. Fantastic prediction from Monk there. That's lovely work, mate, as it does force Philly to take this window. We get the Killer Instinct from the Wolf form, and Monk just sort of doubles back around, tries to get them down. And, oh, that's very generous, I must say so myself.
Yeah, as I was saying, he's just definitely one of the better, Wolf form Drac players in just the region in general. I think that's why Gospel really keep him close to their arsenal, because when it is time to pull out the Dracula, who is quite a quirky killer, he's up for debate. I think he's one of the harder killers to learn in the game, and a lot of people would argue he's quite one of the more funner killers, which I don't know. Having 3 abilities to learn, just regardless, is very hard overall. I'll be very honest, but we do see the reset onto Ranga, a bit of a constellation reset, I would say, and we are just going to try our best to pop this last gen, and I do believe the win count has been met with that death onto Philly Fry. So well played to Monk, bro. As I said, I just want to give him a little bit more credit, because this is actually quite a good team that he's versing right now, and Gospel have 3 killer mains that they could put, maybe even 4 killer mains, 6 killer mains that they could put before Monk, that I think that they are. I don't know if they'd argue are more confident on. What the fuck
The fog
is
is coming.
Bro.
Rang's being pursued by the fog. Oh, we got
What?
the bat form TP glitch is for spectators, so please enjoy as we play as in the shadows for a little bit until I think Monk teleports again. Yeah, Dracula's got a lot of bugs at the moment in terms of spectators, so we're just gonna have to like watch the survivors. So, AAA Dev Studio. What can I say? Yep. So anyway, we're going to be running through the void here as Ranger tries to escape into it, away from the war form that is slowly approaching it. But unfortunately, he is now also being pursued by the fog as it comes to consume him, and likely also his life. As I dare say, he's going to get mauled inside of it. And also, we do see the fog sitting on the generator here. We did hit the dead hard coming in through from Ranger, dead harding the fog. Huge play, big man. But we're going to be bat bombing away, getting a bit of a TP. Hopefully, this fixes the bug. If we're lucky, we're very lucky, aren't we, Jams?
Yes, beautiful. You caught it, big fella. Great prediction as usual from you. But no, sorry, yeah, I don't want to keep reiterating, but I thought I got cut off by a little spectator bug before. But no, yeah, this is a very good team that Monk is versing on Survivor, so I think he needs to get a bit of credit here, because it's been a long time since Monk has played a killer game. Last time being the grand final, but if we're being real, that was like the only game he played all season, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of killer.
Yeah.
So well played to Monk, bro. Really well played, brother. I'm happy to see that. Yeah. Back in the game and locked in, and 4K1 on a set where he only needed 6 stages. So very impressive, big fella. Also well played to GloboGym as well. I thought getting a 4K1 against Gospel, I think in any capacity, is quite a good result, actually. Considering they had potential to out as well, I'd say that they can take away from that and be very happy. And unfortunately, we're going to get the little reverse there from Big Ranger the first time his ping doesn't get caught out. And you see what I'm talking about Monk in the wolf form there. Unfortunately, doesn't connect on that one, but you see what I mean, Sir Smug. He's just very good overall at the killer, and yeah, 4K1 spells it all for Gospel, and that will be 1-0 to your last season's grand finalist.
I think we assumed that, everyone assumed that Gospel was probably going to win the series. I can't see GloboGym winning Blight, if I'm honest, against Addict and Gospel, but yeah, very fantastic result. I think you got to be happy with this. Ranger had some banger chases as well. We didn't quite see the one at Shaq because the fog was coming, but he did a really good job there. Hit the dead hard, and honestly, he played very well. He unfortunately died in the generators at that one stage, which is unfortunate. But outside of that, Rose played.
If Gospel can actually, bounce back and do the things that they really should have done last season, I think everyone could agree they had that, and they sort of had a couple bad killer performances in a row, mixed with maybe a bit of bad mentality that I'm not too sure. I've not confirmed. That's just a big, guess and a skepticism for me. I'm assuming for something like that to go wrong, to come back with 3-1, the comms might have to be a bit shocky, but that's not going to take away from Zetsubo. True, they played that well, and I still am to this day grateful in a sense that grand final was showcased for a lot of people, and so Smunk, I think this season upcoming should be a lot better as well. But we have loaded in, big fella, and I will catch a drink of water here if you didn't want to take us in on Blight on Gas Haven. So nothing's changed.
Yeah, nothing's changed here for the Blight. Back on Gas Heaven, There's not been many changes at all. We did allow Cobb on the tier 1s just before the Friday games. But we get a very tagged Philly Fry Addict also on the Blight here as well. So probably one of OCE's most deadly Blights, the P200 Blight himself, Philly, trying to play this main move to the best visibility, but Addict is doing a very good job zoning him, and I think with a couple of rushes he might be able to get it, but I think he's just trying to get some resources at the way. We see a nice stun from Philly here. It does buy him enough time. He doesn't take the window, though. He's obviously just go back into the main building, which is really curious behavior from Philly. I thought he would have taken that stun as an opportunity to get out the window because he hadn't broken the window yet, but he's just going to be playing this pretty crap part, and while breaking this part, I think Addict should be able to get enough charges, but no. Bringing that power is going to let Philly Gate take the window, and I guess I'm just eating my words and I shouldn't be talking shit because he played that power perfectly and was able to buy a ton of time for his team. And if any man you want a GloboGym taking the first chase against Addict's Blight, it's going to need to be Philly. But Philly does unfortunately go down there for our first step, so hopefully those gens are getting cranked. I think we see one in the distance there, and hear one in the distance there getting worked as well in the middle of the map, which is unfortunate that the death did happen here because it's right next to the super active gen, and we see everyone sort of running for the hills away from there. That were working their gen, which I think was JT and Potato Savage, opting to instead have Potato Savage rotate down to Shaq and help Rung out with his generator. We get the first hook there, and pretty standard stuff for Blight as well. If I didn't already talk about the builds and Wretched Fate, Pop Eruption, pretty normal stuff. You can run Cob Eruption Pop if you really wanted to, but I think Wretched Fate is just sort of an easier perk, all things considered. But yeah, he's in a bit of a deadly spot here, Mr. Philly. He's just in the middle of the map, just hanging out on a hook, and I think Addict is going to be able to find this generator that's getting done as well. He might even go with a cheeky hit, but no, unfortunately, the bump logic isn't there to try and get a little cheeky fleck around. We do still hear them working the Shaq power as well. I think he doesn't care, though. I think he wants his tunnel out on the Philly ASAP, as we do see Philly running for the hills over there, but with the tokens coming back here, he doesn't really have much, very far to go, and he might even be able to get his quick down, and oh my god. That timing, I don't think that's Delhi. I think we got a. I don't think we have Delhi. You might have DS on Philly there, maybe.
Yes. Very unlucky as well. No, I think you predict that perfectly as usual, Sir Smunk. I don't think that was Delhi, and honestly, we did see the first double gen in the background pop, and I do believe that Addict was able to hook on mid just then as well. And the only bloke on a gen that's being progressed is the Wretched Fate player, and we do see Ranga take a tag through that pallet as well, and Addict Addict is going to kick the gen with Pop Eruption and just rush back, honestly just surveying the area. And to be completely honest, I don't really think he has to leave this hook now. You know, obviously again another hindsight comment, but really the only Wretched Fate player is the only one that can really pop a gen here, and I think if my mathematicians are correct, I think he really doesn't even have to overcommit. The gen will pop, the reset does come through. So yeah, it'll definitely come through. Unless that was a medkit, we're only going to be seeing one gen pop for this death on the hook. So I would expect the Addict, the smart player he is, to just pop his butt right in front of this hook. And he's obviously looking for the stealth. He's looking deeper than what I think he needs to. And Philly, sorry, JT, I should say, sitting on this gen. And we see Potato Savage actually coming in from a different angle there. And now Philly's going to have to go up against up against Addict's Blight for the third time this trial. And hasn't had the best first 2 rounds so far. So hopefully he's able to go a few more punches this time. And no, he's going to get 1-2 slobbered back down to the ground. 3 and 3 quick chases on the Philly Fry. But, you know, I mean, from someone who's versed Addict's Blight multiple times, you know, it's not a fun experience. And, you know, if there's one man, one killer you should ban Blight against, it's definitely Addict. I think it's a bit redonkulous they've gotten away with this, to be completely honest.
I'm quite shocked as well that they just let Blight through on against Gospel.
But it's hard to ban all their killers. True, but like how you gotta ban Dredge, because you can't play Dredge against Gospel because you'll lose every time. You can't really play Spirit against Gospel because you'll lose that every time. But in this occasion, I think a Spirit set would have been better, I would argue, because they do have Potato. He is more renowned on a killer than I believe any of the other GloboGym members. No disrespect, of course. Potato Savage just being the most experienced. Sorry, so I just wanted to cut you off. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, true to our point though. I still think we're right on this instance.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that bans, they did ban some really sensible killers. They banned Dredge and Ghost, so it's the 2 indoor sets that they're very good at. And they also banned Ghoul, who New showed us what he can do on Ghoul last season. So I don't blame them. It's sort of a pick your poison sort of scenario where, you know, like you can only take so many bullets out the gun, the proverbial gun, so to speak.
They had a good survivor set last season against Sen on the Ghoul, right? I remember they had a good set. Me and Gunther were casting that, and I believe they got 4 stages against Sen. Now, you know, big fella didn't really know how to play the goal. I think even he would admit that. But they were in that game till the very end. Philly Fry was in the game until the last second. He was the last survivor in the trial, and then didn't obviously everyone remembers that the infamous didn't break away. Doesn't break away, What are you doing, Bulla? Send it, Achi, the infamous Jarvis bomb. But nah, we're going to take a chase on the big rang here. There's no pellets at main anyway, so this will be a pretty quick chase. And I think Addict's setting himself up for a 4K1, which is pretty standard stuff for him at this point. I'm not going to be completely honest, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Addict has had anything else historically. No, he did have, I think, against Zetsubo in the grand finals. I think someone got out from the door.
Nah, he 4K'd. He 4K'd.
No, he 4K'd? He 4K'd?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm talking about my mindset. But yeah, we're going to be seeing Potato Salad just going for a quick trade here. Unfortunately, we'll just be going down. I do wonder if Addict's going to slug here, trying to play for the best result possible, and that's exactly what he's doing. He kind of wants, I think, a 4K2, if I'm not going to lie here, Charms. But I think he's going to be very happy with the 4K3, but he's going to walk over, use his pop of this high active gen real quick, and probably just rotate back over and down Ranger real quick. Nice and casual like. But no, Maranga getting the stun here, nice and cleanly, but we do see the tokens coming back on the block almost immediately. With a little bit of blunt logic, we should be able to get it down here on Ranger, but we know that he's dead hard, and we successfully waited it out. Very good patience from Addict, as we do see Potato getting either picked up or using Unbreakable in the background. But I don't think we see any auras on Survivors on any of these generators, so I think this would have been... I know this was Unbreakable on Mr. Potato Saboteur.
Nah, yeah, I mean, it's hard not to really glaze the poor fella when he comes on the screen every time. I think he's probably sick and tired of it by now, me just, giving him through the headset. But he is a great Blight player, and I believe he's one of Gospel's best assets that people kind of forget about, because realistically, people forget he's a main survivor for them now. And I think he's honestly one of the best survivors in the region versus Spirit. He's obviously one of the best Blights in the region. Obviously, you still got, Sen still exists, of course, and I mean, I'm not going to even say any other names, because there's not really any other names other than Sen that you could compare Addict to. But I think lag out. Did JT lag out, or is it just everything?
Let's have a gaze at the other players if we can from our streamer here. Or did our streamer net die, maybe?
Oh.
I think the whole server shit the bed. I don't know if we're still live enough. If we're still live, I'm really sorry. From our perspective, from your perspective too, JT's having a bit of a moonwalk. It does look like the servers just died. That's shit. Okay. That's... Are you getting pissed off if you added the server just fucking exploded?
Yeah, what we'll do...
Oh, no, it's still going on, isn't it? It is? Is the match
Yeah.
still happening?
It is still happening.
Do we get them to DC, or what do we do?
Nah, it's...
What we'll do, we'll go to a really, really brief intermission. We'll sort out the technical difficulties, and we'll come back with information on the matter right after. But, stay tuned. It'll only be 2-3 minutes. Hello, OSL. Welcome back to our Gospel versus GloboGym matchup. Now, we did actually, unfortunately, see a DC in our last set, but did get confirmations from our refs that it was a 4K2. So, we're going to be basing off a 4K2 win here. 4K2 tie, sorry. It will be a 4K3 win con for what I'm assuming will be the big Ranger on Blight here. I know JT dabbles in a bit of Blight, but I think maybe Ranger's a bit more experienced, and maybe we'll be playing it for the side of GloboGym tonight. But going back to Addict's performance, we did get cut off pretty prematurely there. I want to give him his flowers as well. I think the killer players on Gospel are really, really flawless. Each week they come in, they do what they do, and they give, Cash, Sizz, Nu, and I guess in this instance, Addict now, very, very easy win cons. To be able to get outs as win cons is very good. There's I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but there's a lot of teams that struggle to even get outs in general. So, it just speaks true to their form and how good they are as a team. And on the contrary, though, GloboGym are playing very well tonight as well. I mean, Ranger's playing like a star. I think he's, big red. It's tough. You're versing the best team in the region, bro. I think he just needs to hold his head up here and just think, look, I'm doing my best with what I have to offer. And I'm not too sure if his mental's tanked. I hope it's not. I don't think it's within the big fella to tank his mental in a setting like this. I think he knows what he's up against. I think he knows his back is slightly against the wall when you verse Gospel. I think everyone's back is against the wall when you verse Gospel. Sorry, and yeah, again, it just speaks to the true form of Gospel, how good they are as a team. They've been playing together for years. I've had the privilege of playing with all the boys as well. Do scrim or used to scrim them regularly as well. But yeah, no. I guess the interesting part about this upcoming Blight set will be to see if GloboGym can actually put together a solid performance on the Survivor set, and just put that 4K2 sort of behind them. I'm not really saying that to out here or even win. Just maybe put up a performance that you're happy with to take into the next set, because getting a set win off off Gospel is probably like it's hard. I think people forget to, they lost one set last season before the grand finals. Oh, two sets. They lost one set to Bleeder and they lost one set to Lirisan Marine. Oh, sorry, Renewal. Sorry, I believe. Sorry, Renewal. Yeah, and that's pretty crazy when you think about it, bro. But I'll stop rambling. We have loaded in, and we are straight on the main gen, which is new, and I do believe he is the most aggressive build. That's why he's on there. I'm gonna see a pretty standard build. I believe this is the same big addicted run. But we are going to take first chase onto New here, who I would say is one of the star players for Gospel, so I'm hoping he can juice up.
Yeah, we're taking chase onto New here at main. Pretty similar to what we saw last game from Philly Fry. As you said, 4K2, unfortunately our streamer internet did die a little bit, which caused us to get disconnected from the server. So we're really sorry about that, but very nice bump logic there coming in from Ranger. Getting a nice tag onto New, and you can just play around this part now and just, after you'll have his rushes in just in a short while, and New's playing very patiently here. Fantastic timing and patience from Big Norman as he does get that ball back into main building, and Ranger is just going to ditch that chase. He's had enough of the sauce and he wants to go find maybe an easier chase, get an eruption on a gem. And I called there, but it's been calmed already, and Addict is pre-leaving and just trying to make as much distance as humanly possible. Thankfully not getting tagged there through the power there with Blight, but Addict going to be trying to rotate away. No, he is playing the forehand to the best of his ability, but he doesn't have light, and this will just be a cheeky M1 as Blight gets all of his tokens back. Addict trying to rotate down to sort of the main building side, and I think Addict is not any of our tunnel out builds. I don't think we have DS or Dead Hard on Addict. I think that would have been New. As we do see one gen pop in the background. Wretched Fate is now active on New, and might have also been a key factor into why Ranger dropped that chaser on New. He went, okay, I kind of want the Wretched Fate value, I kind of need it, especially if he's trying to play around that 4K3 Typhon, which while it is unreasonable to a certain degree, you may as well, try for it, right? You may as well try for the 4K3. You never know. Maybe maybe Gospel just kind of shit their pants a little bit. But they're not generally a team to shit their pants. So we're going to be breaking the wall over here on the main building, which is pretty interesting. This kind of opens up a loop around with the front window in the main building a lot earlier than you would have otherwise had it if you did just let that gen pop and then open the garage door. It also makes the run from the garage gen to the window a lot longer as well. Now, we did see Cash lurking and stalking nearby. We at least expected for a last minute pull while New plays aggressive for this main building generator, and Sis lucky just does jumping down on the side of the map. We do find the Cash here, who was probably our Deliverance players. We get the unhook onto Addict, who is also Sprint Burst, as we now find out. He won't be able to make it very far, though. He might be able to make this window, but that's about it. Trying to play super patient. Hopefully he's able to get this dash and deny the Deliverance, but no, we don't see the Deliverance at all as Addict just continuing to take the chase into main building, but no, we don't go into the main building. A-Rang is looking a little bit lost here as Addict does rotate outside of the main building and goes to the spiller power here by the truck, but it hasn't spawned here. We're just going to have to pray for our life and just get a quick down onto Addict there. Cash is lucky to have a Deliverance, but Ranger is just trying to get Addict out as fast as humanly possible to try and keep up with this tough win condition that the Survivors has set for him.
Yeah, no Delhi Unbreak in this set in first monk, as you know, so just going to have to see maybe a rotation. We do see Cash getting picked in the background, which what I believe would have been New. But yeah, no, the Gospel are, their gen efficiency is always really good. I wouldn't say it's amazing in this trial so far. I do think they have gens pumping, though. I do believe Nine's got, 30, 40 on it. Pop Eruption on that gen as well. New being Wretched Fate as well is also a little bit better start than what Addict could have in a sense of, getting value from his perk. I believe he wasn't getting a lot of value last trial from the bro. Overall, though, I do see an FTP onto Addict in the background from Sizz, so Sizz really donning that FTP tonight and putting it to really, really good use. That's 2 cracking FTPs. Good to see you back, big fella, in good form as well.
Yeah, this is just playing out of his mind and letting Alex get that healthy stage. Allowing that chase to take a little bit longer. We see Retrofade popping in the background there too, so it's no longer a burden on any of the gospel survivors, which is great to see. But with a quick little one bounce, we should be able to get that tag nice and early, which is great to see. We get the tag with the Addict, and he's going to be rotating, trying likely to go over to Shaq for potentially maybe a head-on play if you're lucky, or just trying to play the first to his best visibility. But we need this down very ASAP, but with that power break there, it's going to allow Addict to go to that window, but Ranger tries to rotate and use a little bit of bump logic to try and get him away from this tile, as the pallet is still up, so we can try and get Addict to rotate towards Shaq a bit more and maybe kill him before he's able to reach Shaq. That'd be huge, but I don't think we get our tokens in time, which does mean Addict is going to be able to use that Shaq power. Rangers realize that that's a bit of a fruitless endeavor and instead wants to go interrupt his generators, and we do find Cash here lurking nearby, but he is healthy, and we do miss our rush, which is a shame. This allows Cash to rotate up the side of the map here and go back over to Shaq, as Addict was likely just buggered off away from Shaq and tried to double the generator on the other side of the map, or either get reset as well. But we do get the cheeky little M1 onto Cash. A very generous hit, if I do say so myself, and that's overcome too, so we're able to make the Shaq part and get a nice little cheeky stun, as we see another gen popping in the background, and we also have another highly progressed gen in the back too. I think this is Addict near a rock here as well, if I'm not mistaken, but a nice little flare from Cash. It's going to leave Ranger in a fatigued state, and I don't think we're going to be seeing any hit takes here unless we have a surprise head-on or something insane, but no, we do see that gen popping in the background just before Eruption hits it, which is great to see, but this is going to be leaving Ranger in a bit of a tough situation, as they've already lost, and the win does go towards Gospel, as, you know, it's a 4K1 regardless of best result, but Ranger's not happy with the stage result. He kind of wants to play to the best of his ability, try and get it down onto someone else, maybe if he can find Sizz lurking and stalking nearby, but I think he's just going to have to accept it, the fresh hook onto Cash, just accept the fact that he's delivering stack the points and, you know, be bad as day with his pop goes the weasel and try and make the best of a bad situation.
Yeah, I mean, he played very, very well to start off the game. It's hard. Like, look at the team you're versing. Like, you're never ever going to put yourself in a position unless you get, like, 2 taps. And getting 2 taps against this team is just impossible. They have great gem pressure. And honestly, to be completely honest with you, they play the game super methodically. Like, look, you know, Cash off the hook with Delhi. You know what I mean? Or, I'm not even sure if that was Delhi. It might be second win, sorry. But, you know, like, they play into their builds perfectly every time. And it's hard to really see a game going wrong for them when stuff like that happens. Obviously, you know, you look at, you know, games like the Grand Final.
God.
Syzygy, the controller demon. Shout out to the controller players of the world, showing why the rollers might be better.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do play Survival on the roller. I know a lot of people say it's easier. We do see an eruption happening. Oh, the beat is saved from Addict to the edge map. Oh, God. Ranger's mental's got to be in the dirt. I know this man's fuming and he's not happy about it. I think maybe he just wants to kill Addict at this point. I think he just wants to kill her. I know that the pressure's getting him to it, though. He's kind of pissed off about it. I'm sure he is. But he still needs to try and play the best result possible. We see some lingering scratch marks sort of rotating away from the Shaq here, but we see Addict and this is the card. He's going to be leaving that chase. Instead, maybe trying to find a fresh hook in the form of Nu, leaving a quick down on him, but this, you know, it's a Nu, so fair chance getting a quick down. But we do find an injured survivor here. I'm not too sure who it is. It is Cash once again, if you want to try and force him to the second stage in the basement, maybe. That'd be pretty huge. He doesn't have the power available to him, but we're also low on our tokens here, so it is going to let him oh wait, the pallet's not still up, so he's still gonna break the pallet. Is there a bug with the fucking Shaq pallet? Are you not able to kick it from the inside? I've seen so many people just not pick it from the inside.
I'm not too sure what that was, to be completely honest, but regardless though, that's the last gen. Unsurf Bunkin, you know, this is not really, you know, I know Ranger, this is not Ranger's, you know, best performance, but I don't mean that in the sense that he played bad. I just mean in the sense that if you looked at this game and you know, thought about, you know, is Ranger a good killer, you wouldn't be using this game as representation, because he is quite a beautiful killer, man. And you know,
I think he turns around and gets the prompt.
Does he not have the prompt?
No, neither of them do. They're both body blocking each other. He's trying to heal to clip into Ranger. He can just hold him here until EGC. So it's not really holding it hostage. He's trying to drop and pick up the item just to sort of clip into Ranger a little bit and get the hatch prompt, which isn't really working to Cash's dismay, I'm sure. He could probably honestly hit him away from the hatch and then close it, but he wants to scale at Cash, and I think we're just gonna be awkwardly watching him just. I mean, if Cash can heal here, he can just take the tag and go out the door, no? Oh, he's just letting him out, but he's just like, I don't fucking care anymore. Fair enough, Ranga. Do you want to say goodbye, Jams?
Yeah, I mean, I think Rangan knew he was in a lose-lose situation if Cashier was there. But yeah, that will be me departing. Tonight will be Requimish versus Larissa Marine. So we will be seeing Big Roy versus Big Gabu. So your Northeast Asia Commissioner getting some reps in as well. That will be me departing, as you said, though, big fella. I will be replaced by Gohan. So I'm hopefully used to able to cast. I'm going to scoot off. Love you all. I think we'll go into an intermission just so we can sort that out. But yeah, love you all. We'll go into a brief intermission and we'll be back very shortly.